The scientific problem we'd like to investigate is decomposition and how controlled and uncontrolled variables affect decomposition and decomposition rate. What's known in the experiment is the time frame we're given and location of decomposing rats. As for the unknowns, weather can be one in the sense that we are going to have to keep track of, like temperature and conditions each day. Another unknown could be weight of the rat.
Some general guiding questions that can help aid us in our investigation are: how fast does the average rat decompose? Does cold or warm conditions speed up or slow the process? And will decomposition be affected when the specimen is submerged in a liquid?
Considering what is known and unknown, we predict it's possible that submerging a rat in our uncontrolled variable, that being the lemon juice, will decompose at a faster rate than our rat that is not being submerged in any substance of any kind. Both rats are being kept in a scale Tupperware containers so that any difference in their conditions throughout the experiment will be the liquid.
There are several variables that are going to play a part in the experiment. The dependent variables will be the weather along with the weights of each rat. We can weigh the rat at each visit and record the high and low temperature of the day on each visit as well. The independent variables will be the lemon juice and the sealed Tupperware containers.
The experiment that my group decided would yield the best results is getting 2 rats and placing each in a large sealed Tupperware container. One container being filled with lemon juice and the other not. The containers will then be placed in a specific location by Mr. Nguyen.
Our sample size for this experiment consisted of 2 rats, one larger rat and a smaller rat. The larger rat, of course, being the one that was dropped into the lemon juice, and the small rat just being left in the container by itself. To truly get a proper prospect of how the lemon juice, in other words the acid, will affect decomposition rate on a rat, we'd have to repeat this experiment several times, at least 3 to 5. Okay, when collecting the rat's data, we used a simple, I want to say a kitchen scale. It's not a very advanced technology system or anything. So, with this scale we were able to measure the rat's weight after X amount of days, and every time we went out to go check on our rats. And on said days we would check the weather as well.
So this first data table is our unprocessed observations. As you can see, the table itself is pretty basic. It simply consists of each rat and the weight on each visit. This is a data table we would fill out after each time we would go and check up on the rats, so it doesn't have all the processed data yet. Now this is our second data table, and this table actually consists of all our recorded findings and measurements that have been processed. Here we have the date of each visit along with the high and low temperatures on each of those days, as well as the weight of the rat like they appeared in the first data table.
Trends that we observed while watching our rats decompose was the bigger rat on the last day had a bit of blood on it or some kind of mucus on it, and then what we observed was that the rate was dropping just a little bit in grams. Our smaller rat, though, stayed the same for 2 days and then dropped on the last day significantly. What our data suggests about our research question is that our hypothesis was wrong, saying that the lemon juice rat would decompose faster.
So our hypothesis was that the rat dipped or soaked in the lemon juice would decompose faster because it was submerged in an acid, but it actually ended up being where we were wrong, because the lemon juice almost kind of preserved the rat in a sense, so it didn't really decompose at all. All it really did was just got bloated and like soaked. The smaller rat actually decomposed faster, but that one even then didn't really decompose all that much. Some anomalies that happened in our practical work, which actually the only really one happened, was the lemon juice being spilled out of the container that the big rat was in. Someone must have let it out on the second day of the experiment, because when we went back for our second visit, the juice was dumped out. So we replaced it, but that skewed it like altogether because we didn't have what happened within that time period that the lemon juice was missing. Only unusual results that we really got out of the experiment were the fact that we weren't expecting that the acid would almost preserve the skin and the rat like in its entirety, which it did. I'm assuming the cause of it was probably just because since it was in a sealed Tupperware, the weather and environment really didn't affect it all that much, other than maybe the Tupperware being like heated or cold when it was raining or it was super hot. Overall, our hypothesis was incorrect, but with repetition, we could probably get the results that we expected in our hypothesis initially.